Yes. Peoples. I am named D-Man, and you are joined with us again on the Stockroom podcast. Another week, another pod.
That's right.
Joined by the man there. We've got the M1 show.
Live and direct, in the cut as always.
K-Skeen.
Shut your ass up.
We've got Bully the Bear.
Nah, it's no longer Bully the Bear.
What's it now?
It's Bully the Successful.
Come on!
Bully the Successful. Successful by 2:30 p.m. What?
Can't wait to hear that story. Anyways, and we have our special guests for today.
Yes, sir.
Great friend of the show.
Yeah.
You might have... would they have seen you?
They may have seen him running down their roads.
Yeah.
They might have.
We'll use that.
Or if they didn't see him, they've seen his work.
Yes.
Oh, joker.
You may see him with our other NPCs in the running world. That's a conspiracy theory that I'm going to get into.
Yeah, I'm already for it, man.
Oh, yeah.
I see him.
But yes, Bradley, how would you like us to...
Whatever makes you feel more comfortable.
Bradley Martinez.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, man.
I've
been watching what you guys do. I don't know profanity. Oh, my bad. That's profanity allowed.
We try and avoid it,
yeah.
but if you can't...
Apologies. Beep. I massively fudge with what you guys do.
That's it.
So yeah, I've been looking forward to sit on this sofa, man.
Yeah, man.
The,
I think-
the good sofa to sit on, not that one.
I think like the first time I put this idea to Brad must have been like back in... I think I met you at the FootPatrol anniversary, 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we have a podcast and we speak about like bare things. And then from there, like the line's been warm, but we haven't obviously materialized it. So it's nice, like maybe like 8 months on from that, we're able to kind of come and sit down and just...
Bro, the relationship's naturally growing,
Honestly, man.
Like,
Honestly,
you know, it's
yeah.
gone from introduction to hearing what you guys do to then
Yeah.
seeing what you guys do, and then naturally now being able to have the conversation
Exactly,
with you guys
man.
in person.
Exactly,
I think, like I said, I've been quite excited. You know, following the chat that we had last week.
Yeah.
You know, I was excited, and like I said, I was so eager to be on it. I said,
Hey,
to you,
man.
"Yo, I'm about next
He was
week.
like,
Let's do it."
next week. What, can you next week? What day can you record it? He's like Thursday, Friday. He's like, Friday I can't do. Thursday? All right. Let's do it. No, it is.
The problem is, don't put an idea towards me, because I will say, let's do it today. Let's not say that tomorrow. If not tomorrow and the day after. Like,
You know, I tell you what, if I didn't have an event that night, I would have happily just come here straight after.
Imagine.
Off the cuff. But yeah, man. Michael, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just been busy working on some new ideas. Obviously, you know, I mean, work pays the bills, but the ideas are gonna buy me a house in Monaco.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? In Monaco.
In Monaco.
In Monaco.
You know, God damn.
respect it.
Monaco. Holiday home.
Yeah.
Go watch the F1 from my house.
You know, I was going to say, ready for that
Steady.
F1?
We're there already.
Not yet. I was having a conversation with Michael, not you, I think Chichi's brother Michael.
Yes, yeah.
And we were saying like, well, we'll talk about F1, yeah, and just F1 Monaco. And it was like, we were deep in like, buying a ticket to watch the Monaco Grand Prix is like the cheap way out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the real rich people pull up on the boat,
Yeah.
and watch it from the
I watch it from the boat, or they watch it from their house.
Exactly.
In this life, have money.
It's nuts, bro.
Have
It's
money.
nuts. And the fact that they're increasing the circuit like every year. Now there's 3 stops in America instead of 1.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's ample space to watch it. It's just about getting tickets, which is
Yeah. That's
it's very difficult.
So wait, how can you not get tickets? Can you not just stand on the roadside and look and watch it?
No, obviously, if you have a house there,
Wait.
you can just watch it.
Does it not go through like
you think this the M25, bro?
Does it not go through like central Monaco?
Yeah, which is why you can watch it from your house.
Yeah.
But you can only watch one part of the aspect of the course from your house.
Okay.
The probably most viewed aspect is probably the home straight in it.
Oh, okay.
And that will be entry points and boxes and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you can watch one corner from your home, but like, where's the rest of the race? Watch it on your screen.
Yeah.
Oh crap! They're coming around the corner. Let's step out the window.
I was thinking,
Can't see you go 200 G's like.
if it was to do it in London.
What, Central London?
Yeah.
Hey yo! Imagine them cutting through like.
Piccadilly.
No, imagine if they incorporated like a bit of Soho into the track.
Oh man.
And they're doing cornering.
God.
That's nuts.
Around Soho.
That's nuts.
Around Soho.
Those tight. Do you know even by Cole Buxton, those two
Bro,
Bro, I want to see someone go down Berwick Street in an F1
Imagine.
car, man. Like,
Imagine.
I watch like freaking mega buses go down in it. Like, I don't know what the hell they're thinking of doing. Lorries,
Honestly.
this thing. I appreciate there's building works and
Honestly.
that people got to do a job, but there's got to be a better way to get.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Got to be a better way.
Even
man.
when you see those massive lorries coming through, like, come on, bro. Like, you
Bro,
don't actually need to go through here.
the
You could go for another
carnage
route.
outside my office window, I
Can imagine.
swear to God,
Honking.
It's-
Now the road's closed.
bro, it's hilarious. Like, at the moment I hear someone shout, I'm already at the window going, nope.
Oh, crap.
That was
Here you go again. You might land him.
But, yeah, Bolu, chat to us. How have you been?
I'm great.
Good, man.
Good.
Bro,
Good.
you see the smile on his
Good.
face?
Smiling. Can you imagine? Saturday, like, I was outside, like a hoodlum
Yeah.
with the kids.
What?
As in, like, there was so many, like, children, like, Cortez kids. You know what I mean? When I say with the
I
kids?
get
Bro, the amount
Bro,
of guys
you-
that has sent their little runners to pick up crap.
Yeah,
Fam.
yeah.
There was
Yeah.
one kid running up and down, up and
Yeah,
down, up
there
and down. I was
lo-
like, wait, is
there
this
was loads-
security?
There was loads of proxies.
Imagine,
there was
like,
loads
I was in
of
the queue,
proxies.
yeah, and you know, my man that was in the Black Valley,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
some
I know,
kids
yeah.
thought he was Clint in it. So when he was walking past, me, like, Clint, hi, Clint. Like, people were like, that's not Clint, bro. They just ignored it. It's like, Clint, come. And like, bro, like,
You know what's funny about
that?
that?
Superstars to some of these kids.
No, he honestly inspires
Yeah,
them
yeah.
differently. A lot of the guys that worked there that day didn't know the address until they got there. Only probably security and then Clint and
Yeah.
them, like, probably Val.
kinda like-
Everybody else that was working, like, assisting, in terms of, like, the shop experience, they didn't know till the day. Like,
Man,
mom,
hold
I
tight
saw-
to the fruitcakes that went to Chingford, man.
hey, man.
Because it nearly had me fooled when I heard that it was
I
in
was
Chingford.
so
I was
close.
like, yo, I might go now, I know, but
Hey,
then I'm
man.
glad I didn't.
I think,
Yeah.
I think the address leaked or something.
Yeah.
Is that what actually? Because in my mind, that's what happened. People put two and two together. They did the whole. Wait, have you seen it on? I think people do lives of it. GeoMapper, where they'll click on like
And find the area.
they'll click on like a signpost and then they'll be able to find like
Obviously, you have to
Guatemala.
think, you have to,
It's-
you
yeah.
know, like London is big to us, isn't it? But it's also quite small.
No, London
and
is
if you're from a
small.
certain
London's
place, you know exactly where that is.
And everybody knows everybody.
And you
Yeah.
remember when I told when we did the pod last week, I was like, this might just be a front, you know.
Yeah.
It might be a front, and you guys were like, not sure. It could still be north.
No, I feel like it was a front because
But-
it wasn't a front because to put that much money into a shop, because say that shop is closed, you still have to lease out the shop for a day and then stock the shop and then probably get security. Obviously, it's his boys. I don't know if that's up to him, innit? But
No, you pay security though.
okay,
yeah.
security, but then there's your boys on top. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, I hear
So-
you. I hear you.
Yeah, I don't think you would put all of that money in and an advert in front of that shop. I don't think you would put all of that money into that just to not have it there
The
in
Nike
the end.
budget is large. I could have
Oh,
just
yeah.
had spare change. He'd be like, yeah, let me slap a young decoy.
I mean, bearing in mind, Jordan had taken Travis to Egypt.
Yeah, the
you
whole
know what I'm
20.
saying?
Yeah.
Film on the top- on the- what's
Clint
it?
being the
Giza.
kind of
Pyramid's a geezer.
Pyramid geezer.
There you go, lad. Pyramid's a geezer.
How long you out there? Just a couple days. Crazy.
You're right, brother. Pyramid a geezer, brother.
Hey.
Good deal for you, bro. But yeah, hey, Bolu, speak to us more about the day. Well, you got there early.
Okay, let me explain what happened in it because I apologize, Michael. But so I wake up now.
Yeah, I can't lie. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah.
How you just happen to be in the area? Like, what does that mean? Anyway, continue. Sorry.
That's such gang member behavior. Why are you just there?
You know how far he lives? He lives further
He
from
lives
there than
far.
me.
He
No.
The me.
No, this is the thing though. So cool. I'm my mum and my sister, my family, everyone's going to a wedding, yeah. So they've woken me up. I check my phone. I see Clint's tweeted, "I'm awake." I said, "Shite."
Yeah.
I'm in and out the shower. I slap my bugs on, and then I see bugs in search. I was like, "What? Is
Yeah.
it gonna be outside Nike Town?"
Yeah.
He said, "No. We just. I know it's in South, innit? So I'm here." Like, cool. If
That
you're in
kinda
the
makes
South,
sense, yeah.
I'm going to church. Because
Yeah,
my
yeah.
church's on Old Kent Road.
Yeah.
And from
Oh.
Old Kent Road, I can touch anywhere.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so smart.
So quickly.
Are you didn't cool, man?
Bro, I left, literally, it took me like max 15 minutes to get out of the house. You wouldn't have got to me in 15. And I thought he was going to be like, cool, we're here now kind of thing.
Mad, you set me up. Mad.
Yeah.
You know what? For some reason in my spirit, I knew 10 o'clock notification will come out. 9:58, I saw the location. I put it into Google Maps. I said, yo, I'm stepping. Then my neighbor presses. Yeah, because obviously it was 10 o'clock that he put out the address.
Did he?
Yeah.
I was out for that early.
Bro, you out early. Then my neighbor,
That's such
my neighbor presses my bell
homeless behavior.
at
Go on.
9:59 for specifics, guys, and says, Michael, I think there's water coming out of your garage. I said, oh, no way.
Yeah.
Call my parents up, find the key, because obviously they're not at home, innit? Find the key, unlock the garage. Water on the floor. I said, Kalas.
Mess up.
I said, I'm not making it, bro. And then that was the beginning of the end.
Brother to go for you.
Sorry?
Send his brother to Bermondsey.
One brother was on the way to Milton Keynes. The other one is 16. He's not leaving yard. He's at home, bro. He had already set up his day. I'm playing FIFA the whole day. I said, cool, say nothing, bro.
Nah.
Said L. But Bully was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, so
praise God.
From there, so I stopped in New Cross here and I called Bugs. I was like, let me look at the screenshot and see maybe if you put the timer in the area. As I did some analysis, I'm like, cool, the timer's over Elephant and Castle directly.
Yeah.
Like, you know the little...
That was a decoy there as well, to an extent. It was south, but it wasn't
Elephant.
And some people took it as London Bridge.
Ah, fair.
So
from there, I was just zooming around Elephant, just having a little peek, seeing if I can see anything.
Yeah.
And like, cool, I saw 9, I was coming back to...
Children behaviour.
I like.
That's so jobless.
Bro,
I know it's a Saturday, but that's so jobless.
In his black car.
So I was like, cool. I ain't seen 9 elephants. I'm coming back now. I'm literally at. Have you been on Old Kent Road?
Yeah.
You know where the McDonald's is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Asda, McDonald's.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
traffic lights. I
Yeah.
like the traffic lights, and these were you keep going down Old Kent Road, or you turn and go into Bermondsey.
Yeah.
I'm there. I go on Insta. I see 1 second. Clint's posted the thing. The location.
Yeah.
I screenshot it. Use the Google. You know
Yeah, search thing.
Put
Yeah.
it in Google Maps. It says turn right immediately.
Yeah.
Down and like 5 minutes away.
What number were you?
You use that number 6.
Bro, no, the cars they weren't actually numbered. But they had numbers. They weren't given in on order.
Oh, it was
So
just
I got 202. There was no way that. There was no way 200 people in front of me. I got there like I literally.
How many people would you say?
20.
Oh, fair.
Like
20 though in a minute.
Bodied that.
Or like 5.
Yeah, like.
So it's like when I took like obviously I'm
Moving
driving.
like the website.
In my head I'm like, where am I parking my car?
Oh no! If I was you, I would hazard light somewhere.
I'd take the ticket.
Yeah, bro. Like,
I drove to the entrance of the barriers. There just happened to be a parking space there. I said, leaving it. Dashed out.
Yeah.
Cool. I even had time to talk to the guys there. They were like, oh, you're bare early, you know. Like, there's barely anyone here. It's like, calm. I walk here. There's kids running past.
I can't
me.
like, that meat riding is crazy. Why were you there so early?
You know this guy even had time to film and he didn't film the whole of the thing.
Yeah, bro. Because it's like, after I finished,
he was chilling so much he got too comfortable. He asked me should he spin back later on. Me that's waiting for the shoe, trying to see if I can pattern. He's like, hey bro, like, what should I come back? I was like, bro, just go home, man. You already got the crap, just go home, man.
It's because I had to go to the Duke Dex event afterwards. Because like, cool, if I got time, I might as well try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I pulled up to the Duke Dex event. I ended up getting 2 loafers. I even got 2 instead of getting 1. I got 2. Like they were like £90 each. And like these were the exact ones that were £220 online. I was like, this is a deal, mate. Like, and I got loafers. I got 110.
Upgraded your range a little piece.
Like,
hear it, man.
I had 3 pairs of shoes by 230.
You were a real winner.
Hear it, man.
You were a real winner.
Honestly,
I was like, raw.
he really won.
That's why you're cheesing.
I can't even be jealous. Well played.
Yeah, innit? Facts. It's the only words you can say. It's well played. Touche. I tip my fictional cap off to you.
Brad, chat to me. How have you been? What have you been
Yeah,
up to?
good man. Positive. I mean, lots of events and stuff recently, like FootPatrol, and then planning some shoots for upcoming stuff for later in the year. But all in all, yeah, been pretty good. Been pretty like. Obviously, was in Paris in June and stuff. So it's been.
What were you? Oh,
for Fashion Week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been very busy.
Summer is, isn't it? When the weather's good, you're outside.
Yeah, it was good. It was busy, but don't get me wrong. And then coming back, like we've had a kind of big restructure in our team, so we're kind of all finding out our new responsibilities in that sense. So yeah, it seems to be somewhat stressful, but at the same time, like it's good. I'm learning a lot more, man. Like, man. It's positive, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm kind of only here to learn. I'm kind of not here to do much else. Enjoy kicks and learn and try and grow from it. And fortunately enough, the last few months, well, this whole year as a whole really has probably been, I'd probably say the best, most positive year career-wise so far in terms of like direction, growth, understanding where I want to be, where I don't want to be. So yeah, like can't really complain, man.
I pick up you, man. Eman, what are you saying? How are you?
I'm calm, man. I'm Yeah, what have I been up to? Not nothing much. Just been working.
I'm walking.
It's just working.
I'm walking.
Yeah, literally, I'm working. So yeah, the same old. You guys know me. Don't really do much in my life. As a preseason yesterday, Tuesday.
How was that? You're back.
We're getting there. Okay, cool. We're getting there.
The
lads.
match fitness.
We're getting the fitness back, lads.
Hear it.
Bringing the gang together. yeah.
See them.
But yeah, Brad, you've said FootPatrol a couple of times. I don't know if you want to let the people know
Your exact role.
Yeah. So I've been at FootPatrol now for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm what they call the senior community executive. So I run up everything in terms of the community side of things, activations, events, seeding, anything that I don't call it, rather than human resources as a department, I call it human relations.
Okay.
So it's trying to like network and build partnerships. So I do a lot of the partnership conversations with FootPatrol and stuff. So trying to help develop the brand and find out sort of what our mission statements are, what our ethos is, and how do we become more than just a retailer that sells to people. How can we like develop our story in a more supporting manner and try and like, to put it in a kind of brief way, there's no such thing as kind of retail loyalty anymore. And the only thing that brings
Speak on that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So once upon a time, it didn't matter what shoe came out. Certain people would go to certain stores and camp out at those stores, right?
Yeah.
And because accessibility is so wide and you can get it pretty much anywhere, that same kind of ideology of having that go-to store, unless you were doing it from when it was like that, let's say about 10 years ago, it's not really developed that way now, obviously, because it's become a lot more mainstream, much more commercial market.
Yeah.
So it's about trying to find a different touch point between what then makes us different to the rest of the stores, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's then my job is essentially to find out what that point of difference is. It's like we have a creative, I started off doing marketing stuff, and I was grateful enough that my boss and my manager were like, look, we're going to open a community department. We want you to run it up. Here are the keys, drive the car, do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, tell us what you're going to do before you leave. But at the same time, we see you're into it in that sense. How can you help us grow? So my whole role is basically developing FootPatrol as a brand rather than just trying to shift your shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what you need to do, especially like if you want people's money these days. Before, like we were speaking about earlier, in the pandemic, it was so easy to get people's money.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
needs to spend on things because they
Massive.
have disposable income. Now people have got responsibility.
It's tight.
Exactly.
Because
Cost
he
of
lives.
living.
Because he lives.
People in the pandemic started families. People got new jobs. People have to pay for travel now.
And all of these things are starting to pay effect now, right?
Exactly.
And so many brands are obviously trying to control much more of a D2C market, and they don't want brand, and that's not, it's not a bad thing. Respect
Screw
it,
you,
understand
Nike.
it.
I'm joking.
It's kind of, but it's like, it's good from a brand perspective. Obviously, they're able to sort of retain their consumer a little bit more.
For sure.
But at the same time, that retaining the consumer doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have like a strong support system going on behind you, which is why you're starting to see these brands kind of like, they have what you want, but are they doing anything for you in a sense? And that's kind of where I step in. It's like, right, well, this is what you've done for us for the last 21 years. Now this is what we're going to try and do for you in the same respect.
Okay. So
Yeah, man.
It's like respecting relationships.
Yeah, man. So like the ethos at FootPatrol is people over product. And the reason being is because the people got us to where we are. The product sells itself.
Yeah.
If people want to buy it, they're going to buy it anyway. Like, yes, we get amazing opportunities to make really good editorial pieces, and the creative team that we got, like, killer. They make some amazing stuff. I'd stand by our photographer is one of the best in the game. Like, amazing guy. He's one of the probably only true sneaker photographers left in existence. And as far as I'm
What's his
concerned,
name?
Tom Sylvester. Man like 8 Fust.
Oh man! I've seen it before.
Man like 8
Big up,
Fust.
big up,
Big up you, man.
So yeah, like we do get to go these, and we do enjoy it, and we love it, and that's kind of the bread and butter of FootPatrol, is making sure that what we do is clean cut and relevant. But at the same time, we've got to develop that, and not every editorial, not every shoe sells. So it's like I'm not trying to necessarily push product on you. I'm also trying to push an agenda. It's like, right, this is our mission statement. This is what we stand for. This is who we stand for. And how can we then make you want to support that as well?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's
Speaking of product, quickly, what is your favorite FootPatrol collab?
Off the dome, right off the bat.
There is one that I can't say that will be my favorite.
Hey,
Yeah.
you've already started.
Yeah.
He's already started.
I was thinking that you're gonna say that.
No. To be fair, it's not the one that I mentioned to,
Oh,
to
it's
you
not?
guys the other day.
Okay.
Nah.
There's another one in the locker.
There's another one.
Okay,
A
cool.
next year joint.
Cool,
Team
cool,
ups
cool,
away.
cool.
Yeah. Some would say longer.
Okay.
Pushbacks.
Yeah, there's one coming that I would say is my favorite. But if I had to pick out what we got or what we done, I'm not the craziest Addy head, but I must admit, FootPatrol and Adidas kind of rarely miss.
Okay.
Fair
So
enough.
it's either the mustard FootPatrol campus
Okay.
or the ZX 800 Aqua from the A to ZX pack that they did.
Okay.
So they literally just did an ZX 8000 in it, but on an 800 instead,
Yeah,
with like a full 3M upper, bad boy shoe.
Fairs.
Cannot find a pair my size anywhere.
Oh man.
So,
Speaking
you
of
see-
go on.
you see Adidas and 3M.
Yeah, man. Locked in for
I
life.
don't know.
Do you remember the 3 ZX Fluxes?
Do I
Yeah.
remember? Bro, shall I show you the picture of
I
mine?
knew you had them. I knew it.
Bro, they're hung up on my wall still.
Lol.
Like, they're literally the only pair of shoes I have hung up on my wall. now.
I love that ZX Flux
Yeah.
Wave, man. Like that London pair, killer.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
like navy with the kind of red toe.
Oh my days, I remember that.
Man,
Yo.
with the
remember-
cream midsole. man.
Yeah.
I remember
Great
working in
grips the street.
Yo,
working
killer.
in JD. Yeah, we had ZX Fluxes. There was it was like a charcoaly pair of ZX Fluxes. Obviously the bit at the back was black with a black sole, and it was red where it said Adidas on the tongue. Bro, it sold out. So
Must
like,
be a JD exclusive, then, isn't it?
I don't think it was. It probably was, but it was one of those ones where I worked in a certain area where there was a specific demographic of people that came to the area. So,
And they love that one.
so it's the same demographic that loves Rifts.
No. Oh, I got there. Don't worry, I got
don't worry,
there.
we know.
I got
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
I got there. You don't have to tell me that.
There's a demographic that love Rifts.
We already know.
You see when you said wrist, it was done.
And Harachis, triple black Harachis.
Right.
In a
Right.
size 5.
Right. See, now that's too much. That's too on the nose.
Oh,
Oh, no, on a real one, the riffs are hard.
you like Rifts?
Whee, boy, that shoe, yeah, one of the comfiest Nike crepes, and the story behind it as well. That's based off the Rift Canyon in Kenya.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of it was to be like basically like Kenyan runners. They wanted a shoe that felt as close as they possibly could to barefoot, right?
yeah.
And then that obviously having that tabby aesthetic from like gave them that feeling, and obviously having next to no midsole gave them that barefoot feel. Like as a shoe for the time, it's super sick.
strong,
And
innit?
like, man, the retros they done, especially a recent like good retros, even I can't remember what the kind of more up to date shape, the women's shape they did last year or the year before, but
It was decent, wasn't it?
it's good, man. Like a chunky version. Like I'm a big
Yeah.
fan, but you know, you'll soon learn from this conversation that I like shoes that half the people don't even care about these days, man. Like it's part of the fun of it, really, innit? You have your own taste and you just ride with the wave and let people tell you how shit your decisions are.
But even talking about
go on.
like shoes you like, I know you're into your like actual footwear technology as well.
Yeah,
What would
big
you
time.
say is your favorite sort of technology that you've introduced into footwear?
Oh, you know what? I've never been asked that question, though. That's a sick question.
Listen,
Yo. Okay.
because I like they know I'm into technology as well. Like I like.
Okay, we get it. Yes.
No, but no, you're right. He's right. Though technology is super important to
no.
a shoe and progression of a shoe, innit?
But to be honest, if I had to think, the first thing that comes to mind instantaneously and this is the one technology that I remember coming out and I was like, yo, this is crazy. It wasn't the shoe that first launched it, but it was the first shoe that got leaked with it, and it was a Kiko Socket Gel 1.
Okay.
And it had it was the first time Asics ever did a full length gel midsole.
Okay.
So there was no outsole, it was just all gel. Well, I mean, there was an outsole, but it's like super thin.
By the way, we are maybe 5 years away from a mesh outsole. You might be in the future. Basically,
I
we
mean,
have a run and
Adidas
joke.
are halfway there with like
With the ZX.
not even like
What is it? What's the shoe called?
over the years, this kind of like grid kind of mesh
Yeah,
pattern.
the mesh thing, innit?
They've been doing
But
that
it's just,
phase on
it's
the
just the rubber on the
D-Rupt.
bottom.
It's a shock
Oh,
absorber.
the Derupt. I hated that shoe so much.
Everyone hated that shoe, man.
That shoe was like
that got overly pushed for no reason.
Adidas, I don't know what you were thinking, but that was one of your worst ideas ever. I'm letting you know because I know some of you watched
Someone's
this.
listening.
I don't know what you was thinking.
Look at the camera. Let them see.
I don't know what you was thinking. Putting fish stocking tights.
Hey man.
You put tights over a pair of shoes and tried to sell it to us in
Innovation.
Innovation. They included that word in that I word and thought, yeah, we're gonna get them. Yeah, one of the worst. Sorry, the tangent.
Well,
Go on.
don't mate. It's a good tangent as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
But no,
that and the 4D stuff. I like the 4D stuff.
Oh,
but that's
so
Yes, the
now,
4D is
so
what I
right
was
now you
talking
said
about.
that.
Yeah.
So gel and other than that, 4D to this day, I love it. I love it, and I still, when the first Futurecraft samples came out on the 4D, even the 3D printed ones, but like the 4D printed ones especially, when they first came out, I was so excited. And then when they actually bought the Futurecraft model to market at like £170, which in my head I was like, finally affordable. Like it was killer. And I remember when the FootPatrol pair. No, I'm not just trying to name drop for the sake of it, but when they did the sneakers, when they did the sneakers exchange thing. What I've loved learning about 4D over time is how the go-to-market strategy went with it. And it's like, right, they pick these however many, like 8 key retailers for the sneaker exchange thing. And, sneakers and stuff, FootPatrol, Invincibles, like all made these really, really great pairs. But from what I learned working at FootPatrol is that when you were doing your sampling process, you weren't, because of, at the time, the manufacturing cost of making 4D, you weren't sent your sample on a 4D midsole until it was getting to the final stages.
Because it was that expensive.
Because it was that expensive. So you'd send your Futurecraft upper on Ultra Boost midsole.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you'd only get 1 foot.
Mad.
So like if you ever saw the grey Futurecraft sample in the FootPatrol exhibition, like that was
just the 1 foot.
That was just the 1 foot.
That's
That was all
crazy.
you get. And then when we did the second round sampling, or it might have been second or third round sampling, they then got the 4D midsole to see what the shoe looked like, and then they had a green outsole. God knows why they had a green outsole on there, but then they started to see it conceptually. So like 4D is a technology, and then now it's become a lot more widely available and more accessible. That they can now
but
buy.
it's expensive.
It's expensive. Expensive then. Not so much now. Obviously, you're paying £170 now, which, in the grand scheme of things, is a lot of money still. Don't get me wrong.
Jordan 1.
It's cheaper than Wave Runners.
Cheaper, yeah, facts. But then at the same time, FootPatrol pair. I mean, I got the Alpha Edge 4D when the white pair, when they first dropped, that was $250.
Yeah, that's
and then,
that's the price
and then the
I'm talking
FootPatrol pair was $400.
I think.
Mad.
Like so, and that was £400 and 400 units, like 400 pairs made.
Oh wow.
Oh, crazy.
I don't know if that was the same for every retailer, but I know for FootPatrol
for
it
you
was
guys.
just 400 pairs made at £400.
I remember was it Paisley or Parsley?
Oh, Parley.
Parlay.
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 Biggest scam in the game.
Yeah, is it? What?
Watch the documentary on BBC. I'm not going to sit
Yeah.
here and trash it a minute, but watch the documentary on BBC. If you just type up BBC documentary about like the sneaker industry, there's a gent that basically just goes off and basically tries to look into sustainability within footwear and outs Parley big time
Is it?
for all of the things that they were claiming to do and not doing. To put it in short, a lot of their plastic they were sourcing to bougie holidays in Mauritius resorts and then telling them to put the bottles back in the plastic bag, and they just take the bottles back and reuse the bottles.
Oh man.
So it's like all this getting it from the oceans. Their message went from getting it from the ocean to then stopping it from getting to the ocean, from it never actually coming from the ocean in the first place.
Okay.
Because
That's
it gets
mad.
to a point as well where when plastic is exposed so long in seawater, they can't then turn it into thread because it loses its resistance.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole, I don't know, the whole
At what
initiative
point are you
was-
saving it, and what's the truth?
It's crazy, man. You should have a watch that documentary though. It's
Definitely
really,
will.
really good.
Definitely
Really, because
will.
they break it down. They break down a lot of cool stuff. Nike grind, how that works and
Yeah.
things like that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
insight
This
into
one?
stuff. Yes. One manly shoes. No, I might. If it's not,
We'll
if it-
talk
I'll
after.
find it. I'll
Yeah,
find it for
cool.
you guys. If I can't,
Yeah.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you if we don't find it today.
thank you.
But it's super. It's only 30 minutes long.
Not bad.
But it's super insightful in terms of like sustainability in the industry, and the guy does a very good job on putting the responsibility on those brands that
Yeah.
are somewhat greenwashing, and
Definitely
rather
gonna
than
watch
actually
that,
like doing
'cause
something.
That's something we want to discuss in the future as well, with
Yeah.
a bit of proper insight.
Yeah.
We're just kind of doing our research and bringing stuff together about sustainability to be able to discuss it, because again, sustainability is one of these things that they're a buzzword right now.
Yeah.
Along with like vegan leather and them things. And it's like, how much truth are you guys putting out
Sorry.
with the marketing and the stories you're pushing with these products, and how much of it is true, how much of it is really like you have gone to find these sustainable materials or repurposed materials that were.
They love that
So,
word.
so here's a question for you.
Go on.
And this is how I'm kind of recently been measuring sustainability. If I give you 2 different shoes, right? Okay, and I'm not shamelessly, I am going to shamelessly plug them. I'm going to give you a Norda, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a Norda, and I'm going to give you, let's say, a Nike Air Max 90. That's come or one of the Air Max 3s. And the only reason I'm saying the Air Max 3 is, and that only came out, last year, 2 years ago, the retro.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a geezer today with a hardly beat up pair and the midsole cracked
Okay.
and split. So when brands are saying sustainability, a lot of the time these days, from what I've gathering and what I've been reading and things, a lot of it's to do with just finding more greener materials to then incorporate
make
into
their
the
shoes,
shoes, right?
yeah.
And trying to put that into a more mass market approach,
Yeah.
which is really, really good. But that mass market approach of adding these other materials they don't have the same durability.
Yeah.
So you're now seeing these shoes fall apart quicker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then
yeah.
where do you draw the line on what is sustainable, making it sustainable or having it last longer? So with Norda, it's not sustainable. It's what I would call consciously made in a sense of
Okay.
the upper is a bio-based upper called biodynema, which is what's supposed to be the strongest fabric in the world and the lightest fabric in the world. And the shoe is supposed to last you 750k worth of running on trail.
Okay.
A lady has walked/run 2,300 kilometers in a pair of Norda 001s, and she's only had the outsole partial,
The
wear
outsole's
down.
made from Vibram.
Yeah, the whole midsole's made from Vibram, but the
Vibranium.
Vibram.
It's the
Vibram.
same.
These man, the little
Oh,
yellow.
You've seen
Vibram.
This is gonna look
Yeah.
mad on a camera.
Junior Watanabe.
You know the
Watanabe.
Kif RC 1300.
The one that
The one
you
that
have.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're made from the same.
Okay.
So like they've made a shoe that is more consciously made but lasts you longer. So what would you call more sustainable?
Is it the longevity or is it the way it's made? And that's the debate.
That's
Yeah.
for me. That's now the debate. It's
Yeah,
like these
yeah.
guys are making a shoe that, all right, not every aspect is sustainable, but it's more consciously made and lasts you that much longer. So
Exactly,
if someone
yeah.
can go walk 2,300 kilometers in a pair, right?
That's sustainable.
Yeah.
yeah, I get you.
You ain't
completely.
walking 2,300
Yeah,
kilometers in a
average
pair of Air
consumer
Max 3s.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
What's the retail?
For these ones, 220.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So don't get me wrong, it's a performance shoe at the end of the day. So,
Yeah, so
I'm
be a bit higher
comparing
range.
two extremities there at
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
same
of
time.
course.
But like, if the same ethos can be put into that, why can it then be not put into lifestyle?
Yeah. It's a conversation that does need to be openly had.
Yeah,
Definitely.
big time, big
Where
time.
do we find the healthy balance
Between sustainable and long lasting.
Yeah.
And I guess funnily enough, that brings us into what's on feet today. So we've got Brad in the Norda Vibrams. What colorway is this called? do you know?
So this is the Norda 002 Summit White
Okay.
colorway. So
Smooth.
this is their most recent shoe they
Summit
dropped in
White.
June. This is like, they've only got 2 shoes as a brand. They got
Okay.
001
and
and
002.
002.
Fair.
Fair enough. Keep it
But
simple.
as a brand, they're just like, man, they've got the great ethos of like a shoe's not coming out until the shoe is done. So now when I say done, I mean conceptually complete. Like it's going to do exactly what they want. And
Yeah.
the way I'm seeing it is they're creating a nice range. The 001 was more of a longer distance endurance shoe, a bit softer.
Okay.
This one's like your faster trail running shoe for
Okay.
a slightly shorter distances. And not as comfy because obviously the midsole's a lot firmer. It's supposed to be giving you a lot more feel and closer feel to the ground.
Right.
But still just as well made.
Hear it.
So it's easier to run for the bus.
Exactly.
Bully, what you got on today?
I got the.
You know what?
Got the
You know what? Fair enough.
At least one of us have something, right?
I got the dubs on feet.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Got the pictings.
For 110, not 169.
Can you imagine?
Smooth.
I got it cheaper as well. Oh God, God is good. He's
Tees
good.
on sale.
Not gonna
Get
lie
out
though,
here.
the actual interior of the store
was wavy, innit?
It looked so cool.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in like an old school Sports Direct.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
It was the whole JJB Sports
Yeah.
spin-off in it, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. I remember those stores.
Yeah,
They were kind of going.
Stores.
Yeah, they're kind of going out of fashion. I mean, name change wise
Yeah.
when we were growing up, but yeah. Iman, what you got on
I
think?
think Wood Green still has.
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
know.
Chill on with green.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
just the
Crawley
OJD
Town still
sign.
has one.
Yeah, exactly.
What you going
I'm
for?
wearing. Yes, we'll speak about this. Oh, why am I bringing my foot up? The Nike by You Plum Dunk. This is leather instead of suede, and I have put the gum outsole because in my mind gum lasts longer, and it just looks nicer in general. I feel like it's nice to have the contrasting color between obviously the white midsole and then the gum outsole, and obviously you know the plum upper.
Wait, did I vote gum when you put the poll up? Did I vote gum? I feel like I did.
I think I voted gum, but then when you showed me, a lot of people doubled back, didn't they?
No, everyone voted like typical purple.
Yeah,
outsole,
yeah, because of the balance.
But I was just being very like stubborn.
Fair. Yeah, because Eman did the. I think Plum's outsole won, but then I spoke to Eman and I was like, but gum might make sense, but I'm not sure.
Yes.
And then we kind of had a little discussion, and then from our discussion, I knew Eman wanted to make Plum with the what's
gum.
called with the gum outsole. I was like, cool.
I wanted to do it from the jump. I just wanted to prove to everyone I was right, but nobody thought I was right, so I just made it. I just still made it.
Fair enough.
Fairs, man. Nah, they look good still.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
can I go it for free? I'll go with
the voucher.
Yeah.
And now they're getting a Plum Dunk pre-release.
Let's
How you feel about that?
Listen, I kind of forgot that they released it in 2020. It feels
Fair.
like it was like last year.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they're doing this. Last year they re-released the Syracuse. I got that. Thank you. But now that I've got the Plum, why?
What, so they should work on your terms?
Huh? Yeah, of course. What do you think this is?
Come on, we're the consumer.
Yeah, exactly. What the consumer?
You're
What
dumb.
did they say? The customer's always right. I'm right. And apparently they're doing the Plum Dunk and they're doing the Brazil 2024.
Yeah, I saw.
So, hey.
And
I remember they did a Kentucky as well. They did the...
yeah, the Kentucky and
the
Syracuse reruns.
And I think before that they did the St. John's. St. John's is the
Yeah,
red and
I
white
think
ones.
they
I
might
can't remember.
have.
I feel
They
like
might
they
have.
did. But also obviously that, and then there's the vintage. There's the vintage dunks.
Yeah.
Apparently they're releasing the Panda vintage dunk. So I'm interested to see that because obviously I've said this like 5 times, guys.
You know how long Eman's waiting for the shoot? I think it's probably been like duration period of creation, maybe like just under 9 months.
Yeah, because I'm even longer. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Because in America they've released the shoe ages ago. The vintage navy,
Vintage,
red,
emerald green,
emerald
red.
green, and then the Panda,
Yes.
that vintage dunk. So hopefully it does come to fruition here
Hey,
because
man.
it's been in America for ages, and I actually do not want to go and pay StockX or any type of fees for that shoe.
Fairs.
But yeah, sorry, I digress.
That's
Michael.
right, man. I have got on the
Boo! Sorry,
Fresh from Giza.
Fresh from Giza.
fresh from the pyramids of Giza.
Fresh from Giza.
I'm wearing the Travis Scott Cactus Corp Air Trainer ones in the light chocolate brown colorway.
No, I'm not even gonna expose. Basically, conspiracy theory is, listen, it's an agenda, but agenda over facts in it.
Right.
Keep
Michael
going.
thought that if I buy this shoe, maybe in the ether there's a store that.
The fact you don't land that is annoying me.
They'll repay him for his
Yeah,
hard work.
Low.
they'll pay you for your hard work
Low.
and give you the Air Max ones
Yeah, I thought
in the
I was wrong.
Cherokee colorway or whatever color that was.
Still want that shoe, man.
Yeah,
kind
I can't
of.
lie. The
Only
shoe-
kind of.
The shoe kind of aged horribly because I don't see a lot of people in it.
I
don't
see
know.
it around.
Was allocation a lot? Because you got
It
pairs.
was wider than most like
Travis
Travis's.
releasing
That Air Trainer one was probably the widest
Yeah.
stock Travis
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pushing the story.
Mate, no,
They're pushing the Air Trainer 1 story.
think, like,
Yeah.
what I still get baffed about, we're looking at Travis collabs, man. The 270.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was out
it
there.
was a
Again, pushing
You
the
know what,
story, but
yeah.
like,
You know what
you
it
need
is?
to do that.
It's a Bedina shoe. It's not
You know,
fast.
yeah.
Why
That's
would,
it.
no, it's not even that, bro. What was the reason?
It's not fast.
Pushing the 270, literally. That'll be
works
just
for
an
kids
opportunity.
shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
definitely,
kids shoes it works.
Yeah, but-
If it was a kids exclusive, I'd be like, cool,
Yeah,
first.
real.
But they
That shoe-
extended it.
Anything
that
over
shoe-
size 2 is it?
Well, that was
No,
the
that
thing.
shoe-
The
go on.
270 was targeted at
Yeah.
like a Gen Z, a younger audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for that reason, like the collabs that they were doing over in the States, they were getting the bike crews that go through New York to do a collab on them, and I think they might have even done one in the UK as well. And then obviously doing Travis and stuff like that. It was just trying to push kids into a new lineage of Air Max, right? It's like we all was it a 2? Yeah, it was a 270. Yeah,
270
Yeah,
and then
270.
a 270
720.
React, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
270 React, yes.
270
I got-
React.
Yeah.
For your sister, innit?
I got one for myself. React 270, the original colorway.
Oh, okay,
remember.
okay, first.
With the red and yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the blue on the outsole as
Yeah,
well. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that like space bluish, turquoisey,
Oh, yeah.
greenish
Yeah.
color. Yeah, I feel like sorry, quick tangent, but Nike have done well for. I think was it Nike React Vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
After I know what I'm talking
There's
about.
a few
That whole React range.
really strong.
They've
really strong.
Yeah.
Well, from the initial like undercover teaser on the runway all the way through to like where it is now, that technology is
It's
probably
stood the test of time and done what it needs to do.
it's done exactly
Yeah.
that. It stood a test of time. It's actually like made its way into being like it's made its way to sit alongside. It's like the new age Lunaron.
Yeah.
What it is. It's a new age Lunaron.
And speaking of Luna and space, Brad,
That was a nice segue.
if you come on, man,
Like, yeah, that was
if you'd like to, Brad, just tell us a bit about the shoe spin on the table today.
Yeah, for
My
sure.
MVP performance already.
Real,
Yeah,
hey,
that
man,
was-
hey,
that was
I can go
I'm a
home
I
now.
didn't even think about it.
it went over my head. I went,
Yeah, Brad. check this.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure everybody knows like Nike Foamposite Galaxies, probably up there. Like
Serious.
for anyone that knows me knows I'm a big foam head. I ain't got a bank to buy a lot of foams, but don't get me wrong, expensive shoes at
Expensive
retail,
shoes,
and
yeah.
even more money at bloody resale.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Galaxies obviously probably the first shoe in. It was probably the first shoe in London from what I've heard. I got into the game kind of the year after. But from what I heard, it was the first time a shoe has actually made people camp out for more than one day in London. I think some people were camping out for up to nearly a week.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Camping
you were
for
able,
a
and you were able to buy more than one pair.
What year did these drop?
2012 for the All Star game.
Oh,
Makes sense.
okay.
So like, and that's by far. I'm not just saying this because I got it, but I think it's by far the best All-Star shoe that's come out ever since. Like, there's nothing that's been in comparison close.
It's aged quite nicely, to be fair.
Yeah.
Man, it's great.
Even with the icy sole, like it's still.
I think he's right. You know, I can't think of any
I'm trying to
all-star
think.
collabs. Like all-star
20
weekend.
Nothing. I mean, people got shot and stabbed over that shoe in
Yeah,
the
it's
States.
true.
Do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like, this shoe was one of. Jeff Stable can sit and say was whatever he likes about his fucking pigeon shoe that he
Yeah.
can't stop yapping on about. Like, but in the grand scheme of things, this was the first shoe I would say that dropped that created this the hype
hype
that
we get
is-
today from
Yeah.
Craig.
Like, this is the first time that I think that people went as crazy as they did for something like that. Like, yeah, okay, we can sit here and say the pigeon did it first, but like, I don't care about the pigeon anymore. We've heard the story, we don't need to hear it.
Yeah.
But this shoe as like a standalone shoe from a brand, that and the havoc it caused, crazy, man.
And did it come out before the America pair, or was it vice versa? Because I'm guessing a lot of people would have proxied it as well.
I couldn't tell you that much, to be honest. I wouldn't know. I'm pretty sure
So I
it was a
remember
fairly
massive in America.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure it was a global release,
Yeah.
just straight
Just-
up,
Fair enough.
no regional exclusives
Fair
or anything
enough.
like that. Don't get me wrong, knowing that with how the All-Star games work, there was probably like a week's grace period or a couple of weeks grace period that the States had over because of the NBA.
'cause,
Right.
yeah.
Because I know they did that with the Joe Freshgoods 992, right?
Yeah,
It was
yes,
kept as like,
yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a Nike shoe, but the 992 was kept as an exclusive for Chicago because the All-Star game was there,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I can imagine there was a small grace period, but I know it was a global release, not everywhere, but I mean, you buy that at Nike Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the maddest part. It's
Yeah.
like,
So I'm guessing you're into your like retro basketball-y
not
type
at all,
of-
you know.
Oh, is it?
No,
Just-
foam. Yeah, just
Fair
foams. Like foams is because I see it as almost the perfect blank canvas that any shoe, and also as well the history of how that shoe is made is like everyone always complains about how expensive it is as a retail cost, but no one ever actually thought about. No one, as far as I'm concerned, no one actually is really looking into the history of why it costs
why
so
it's
much
like
money.
that.
It's like in 1997, that shoe cost something like 100 and something grand
Yeah.
just to make the mold.
I've heard about this because the mold is stupidly expensive.
The mold is made by Daewoo, the car company, Korean car company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah.
made it back in 1997, and it cost 100 and something, like something like 125 grand. It cost just to make the mold.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the shoe costs that
It's so
much money to
expensive.
release. So when everyone was sat there going, why is the CDG nearly £400? Bruv, they've just had to make a whole new mold in a design that has never been done before in a shoe.
Yeah.
So like, and as a shoe, I think obviously the graphics and how things and colorways come out on it, whether you wear them or not, aesthetically for me, it has always come out looking 10-10. Like every collab from OGs through to Galaxies to the Gen China exclusives, which one day I will own.
Those are different.
You see, when you think about like foam pods, like, I can't think of any like plain colorways.
There's always something different about them, isn't there?
It's always something like.
But even the stealth blacks,
super loud.
even the stealth blacks have something to them. It's like a textured sidewall to it, rather than just being shiny.
It's like the most like the least loudest shoe is like it's a subtle flex kind of thing. 'Cause you know, materials is crazy.
But I also think they're hella comfy. Like in terms of like what I've always been into older stuff, and that's just because of like when I started getting into things, the people that I followed at the time, they were just storytelling and storytelling aspects of things that obviously you couldn't find out the information to, and that was the part that got me excited. So like I've always been into like when I'm talking old, I'm talking when Puma and Adidas weren't a thing and they were called Dassler Shoe Fabrique. Do you know what I mean? And it says Dassler Shoe Fabrique on the side, and the running spikes that they made are about that freaking long. Do you know what I mean? So it's like all that kind of stuff I love, because I love to see the journey of where it gone to where it is now. But so like I'm massively into the industry as a whole, and then obviously the innovation side of it is super exciting as well. Like, you know, foam pods as a shoe, Zoom pod inner soles and all that kind of stuff.
Carbon fiber.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was stuff in 1997.
Revolutionary.
Way ahead of its time.
Let me ask you this, obviously people's perspectives on this are always very different. But now these might allegedly be getting a re-release.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's good for the game?
Bring it on, man. Bring up the worth of my pair.
So you're not going to go for a second pair? For
Definitely. Yeah, I'll go for a second pair so I can put those to rest. Yeah, because I wear them. Don't wear them a lot.
Yeah, but you wear them.
But enough. I wear them enough that I've got my money's worth.
For a shoe from 2012, but it's in very good condition.
Very good condition.
Mate, it was when I bought them, they were DS, and it was an unbelievable moment at the time, because it was kind of somewhat surreal how I got them. And like the day I got them, I had a family member pass away on that day. And then a friend of mine was like, yo, I've got you foams, you can have them for retail. And I was like what am I happy? Am I sad? So I remember being at my flat at my house at the time in Homerton, and I got home. Obviously my manager sent me home because didn't know what to do with myself. And I remember being sat on my sofa crying, enjoying some form of like narcotics, trying to mask the pain. With these on the shoebox on the coffee table in front of me, just going. Like it was
a story like that's always gonna stick with you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And that's why I kind of wear them. And I remember I wore them not long after I got them. The whatever Crip City number it is now, but at that time I went to a Crip City, the first one that they did in Wembley. And I remember one of the earliest Crip Cities that I went to, I saw a guy in them and I got gassed because I'd never seen a Galaxy in person. And obviously it was a different time 9-10 years ago when I was first going to Crip City to what it is now. And I remember walking through Crip City and this kid stopped me and said, what are they? And I was like, you know what?
Fair enough.
It's such a foreign.
It's just not.
It's not an Air Max.
Exactly. It's just like it's not a Yeezy. No one cares. No one cared about it. So this kid was like, yo, what are they? And I literally, I got gassed because it was like, one, it's exciting to be able to tell that story again. But then at the same time, it was just like, it's nice to see a younger generation asking that question and interested into it. It's like he saw it and went, oh, I wonder what that is, kind of thing. Let's go ask a question. And that I loved that whole experience. Least of my concerns was that he didn't know what it is. Like, there's so many shoes out there in the world. I don't know. I don't remember everything, man. Like, it's impossible. But yeah, it's one of the best Nike. My top 3 Nike silhouette for sure.
What's the other 2?
Huarache and a Cortez.
What do you think of the Huarache that's coming out?
The new edition. You know what? Yeah, I don't hate it. I wouldn't buy it, but I don't hate it. I think it's a pretty good adaptation.
Is that the one that you showed us?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like new paneling on it, stuff like that. I think it's a really good adaptation. But there's, if you go back, Huarache's always done that. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's the Air Trainer, like the Air Trainer Huarache, or you had the Huarache Internationals from '94, stuff like that. They've always, Carnival was pretty much based off Huaraches. You know, like Hirachi's always been there doing something different.
Yeah.
So like people going, what the hell? This is a new Hirachi. I'm like, yo, Hirachi, they've been
They've been
done
doing
it.
this.
They've
Even
just,
the
they
Hirachi
just know which
utilities.
one works.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
Yeah.
even did a Hirachi free run, innit? In
Yeah,
like
yeah,
2023
yeah.
in
You know
2013.
what? I saw a guy this week in a pair of black free runs. I had to call my boy. I said, yo, my
Better be
man's
a
in
run
free
too.
runs.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
best one.
I was like, see that shoe? That shoe and the Roshi runs were like this. Running the streets in secondary school.
Fam. Oh my gosh.
That
Even
Roshi
remember
one's the
that,
boss.
And then the Flynet Racer, the whole
Yeah.
its
Yeah.
whole thing in 2015.
Facts.
Yeah.
I remember my boys like skipping like sick form just to
Yeah.
go buy the Flynet Racer Multi 2.0
Bro,
Imagine.
at Offspring.
I had
Imagine.
in JD, I had 3 in our stockroom,
yeah.
and there's a guy called Lewis, and he had a boy that his boy was he's one grown guy, but he would always come and be like, yo Lewis, what do we have? Because obviously you know Oddmans.
Yeah.
Oddmans is basically our last pairs,
Okay.
and we used to always get random stuff. That's why I got my Triple Y Air Force One, the Flynet ones for like £40.
Imagine.
Oh, mate,
imagine.
on
Chilling.
Boxing Day randomly, and we had a pair of like silver bullets randomly for like £40 or £50.
Imagine.
So we had 3 pairs upstairs. He was like, what size do you have? It was a 7, a 5, and a 3 or some. It was all like
how it goes
Odd
down.
side
Yeah.
literally.
all
Never what you
return
need,
pairs,
is it?
yeah. And I think his boy was like, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna wear it, but it had resale value at the time, and because I wasn't into trainers like that, I knew about it and I knew there was hype, but I didn't really understand it. So he was like, bro, I'm gonna sell it to you, but I'm gonna have to do it on the slide because my manager's like around. He sold it to him. He came out next day. He was like, I just made like 500 off it. I was like, what?
Crazy.
Okay.
Why did he come to tell you?
Huh?
Why did he come and tell you that?
Because he was one of those ones. Look what he's one of those braggadocious guys.
Oh, right.
And one white guy who was wearing really skinny jeans and like up to like here with a pair of multicolour Flyknits. So I think he had like 3 or 4 pairs.
Right.
Fair enough, man.
Alright, but yeah, I remember they had their time as well.
Bring
But
back
yeah,
Flynet, man. Bring back Flynet.
I don't know when. I feel like now that this whole mesh thing is in full swing, I don't know when it's gonna phase out, but I feel like Flynet will make its way back.
Oh, for
Make
sure,
a comeback, man. They'll
for
make
sure.
a comeback. I mean, I stand by it. The HTM, HTM Flyknits, Flynet Chuckers,
Yeah.
like Killer, the Supreme Nike SB pair,
Even the Mercurial Flyknits, all of that type of
the
stuff.
Magistas, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they had some really, really good, like a really good period of just churning out some fire stuff.
Yeah,
with
for
Flynet.
real.
And it was zero wastage.
Yeah.
It was made to spec.
Yeah.
Like, we're going backwards on sustainability right now.
I remember that time, the Vape Maxes. I love Vape Maxes. That's a story for another day. Speaking of Flyknits and speaking of running, I want to quickly go into your running journey because I know you are a
Running
key,
journey is quite funny. I like that.
you are a key runner. How? Okay, cool. This conspiracy theory,
days.
I feel like, I feel like there's a big push behind running nowadays. Like, I would say adjacently, like how a lot of footballers are getting into golf. It's like, it's weird. It's like all of a sudden, I'm seeing every store has like a running group, or there's loads of like active running going on.
Yeah.
Even with that, even how fashion is drifting into F1 as well. It's just bare like
Yeah, there's just it's like the stuff that
Nah,
we're
but it's-
seeing.
I don't want to be that guy, innit?
Yeah, go on.
But certain activities come with like a very strong community aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running is one of those things.
Yeah.
Imagine you're running by yourself, yeah, and then one day somebody in your area is like, "Oh, you run? Like, I want to get into running.
Yeah.
Let's run."
Yeah.
Now 2 of you are running.
Yeah.
Now 2 of you are running, and somebody's like, "Oh wow, these guys run every day."
Oh, just watch Forrest Gump, innit?
Yeah,
Perfect
yeah,
example.
yeah.
And then 4 of them are running, and 6 of them, now the whole like of your little neighborhood is running. You've got a run club.
Yeah.
And you're posting stuff, and you guys are actively engaging in running product.
Yeah.
So what will the brand do? A brand will see, oh, these guys have got a community going. All right.
The Nike Zoom. What's that running shoe? And it's like, I can't remember. There's a Nike Zoom something 4, and it has like the pod at the bottom.
I'm not sure.
Remember. I can't remember. Continue. Sorry.
But then, like, for example, like a good example of this is Run the Boroughs.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic,
Hold
I
tight,
think
RTB.
Shout out them, man. Within the pandemic, they had their shoe release, and it was like a big thing where, because like runners are so.
Is this the 991?
Yes.
You're talking, yeah.
So I saw it and I was like, you know what, these are hard.
They had some good pies at that.
Yeah, and like seeing like runners, like the way runners interact with the product, they spend money on their gear when they're fully into it. Like after like 3-4 months, you're gonna see them decked out from head to toe, got a running cap, the whole fit, jacket if they need it, the crep, the armband for the phone, the watch carrying the minute,
Oakleys.
everything. The Oakleys, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Some kind of different crep, whether it be a Salomon or a New Balance or something.
The specific demographic.
I'm the epitome right now.
Look at him in the on-running shorts.
Shorts as well.
On-running shorts, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And
I
they're
don't
off.
wear anything other than running gear much these days.
That's what I'm
to be
saying.
honest.
And like, because like brands know that out of all the communities that are existing, runners are one of the most dedicated ones, because it's such a ritual to the point where like you wake up in the morning, I need to go on my run.
Yeah.
7 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m, depends on when your day starts, but your run starts your day. And you're running.
Yeah.
Some would say it's a community.
And I guess that's why it kind of feeds into obviously Brad's whole ethos of like, I guess, thing. But yeah, tell us a bit more about like your energy and how you got into running, what it is.
You
to
know
you.
what? Yeah, my getting into running, like the long distance thing, has kind of been more of a recent thing. Like initially, when I was like 16, 17, 18, I used to compete in 100 meters.
Okay.
What's your time?
11 flat.
Mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
Not anymore. Like, not anymore. But at the time, when I was 18, it was 11 flat, and then I used to do 100 meters, 60s, and 4x100.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
60s was kind of my strong suit.
What's
my
your
last
60 time?
7-1.
Basically, Bolly used to do athletics, so he's timing his time against
What
yours.
were you?
I used to triple jump in 400.
Oh, yeah, you're built different though. Still,
Have you seen how lanky his legs are?
yeah, I know, but like 400 meters, don't matter how lanky you are, that's all lung capacity. That is, man. Like I don't know how these man, like that is a sprint, but like a sprint, and I don't know how it's, even to this day I still can't do it. But like I got into it kind of that way, and admittedly, when the Olympics came around in 2012 in London. And they had this whole thing about how kids got into athletics off the back of the Olympics. Like I was fortunate enough that my uncle managed to get some tickets in the ballot thing that they did.
Okay.
And the tickets that he managed to strike lucky on was to see the 100 meter heats.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, like,
So you saw Usain Bolt live?
I saw Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, Johan Blake, Gatlin. I was a big Gatlin fan at the time as well. But and I don't mean this in any way, but it wasn't necessarily seeing the big dogs that kind of got me into wanting to run, but it was actually seeing, there was one geezer, he ran it in 12.8 seconds.
Yeah.
And you thought you could beat him.
And my dad looked at me, and at the time I ran it in 12.3.
Yeah.
My dad looked at me and he says, "You're faster than that." And I said, "Yeah."
Hey, Gasty.
And then so I started training, and then obviously I established pretty quick, like pretty soon on, that I was never going to be able to compete for GB because the standard is so high in the UK.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Subtitles.
But fortunately enough, my family being Spanish, I was like, I can compete for Spain though.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was trying to qualify to compete for Spain. I unfortunately got hit by an injury in playing rugby.
Okay.
And I dislocated my rotator cuff, AC,
That rubbish
collarbone, and tore all my ligaments.
Oh man.
And then got misdiagnosed at the hospital. So it all healed in the wrong place.
Oh.
So I've had arthritis since I was 20.
Wow.
Now. And I spent probably every year after that injury. I mean, even after it happened when I was like 18, I stopped doing all sport. I had to stop doing all sport completely. And it wasn't only up until a therapy session, admittedly COVID, like, full disclosure, I'm all for talking about mental health and like things and experiences and things like that. And not that I liked COVID at all, it made me paranoid, admittedly, but it actually helped me find out like mental health kind of things that I didn't realize. And I ended up establishing that I had PTSD from an incident that happened when I was 18. And through that, I needed to try and find
An outlet,
right? My outlet with dependency was smoking too much weed, basically.
Right.
And I needed to swap that because I was so passionate about doing sport and couldn't do anything that naturally it buried me that I couldn't do it. So I just masked it, gained weight. I wasn't fat, but I gained enough weight that honestly, if you saw a picture of me, I'll show you a picture after. Like the difference of me, like 4 years ago to now is like massive.
Yeah.
And my therapist said, like, "What do you like doing?" I said, "I like running." I said, but I can't run because it hurts my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like athletics, like 100 meters, I physically cannot do
you
it.
can't do it
It's
without
like
force
you know that motion.
Yeah.
The moment you
Force
throw the
shoots,
arm back,
That's it.
well,
Yeah.
I'm screaming. I can't. My
Mad.
arm can't hack it. And that's even going to the gym, innit? I can only pick up so much weight without having to have a mate spotting me for like 20 kgs.
Yeah.
It's like me in the bar fighting for life. So it was. He said like, why don't you try again? And I was like, all right, stuff it. Why not? So I started doing a mile at a time because naturally I knew I couldn't do sprints. So I thought, well, I'm gonna have to
Do distance.
I'm gonna do distance. So I started doing a mile at a time. And it grew and it grew and it grew, and I started getting to 5K, and I was doing that here and there, and then. Not long after I started, and this was September 2021, a friend of mine, I moved back to my parents intermittently in between houses, and I was back at my parents' house in Surrey, and I met up with a friend of mine who's now a professional physio and a bloody good one. He's now my physio.
That's it.
But I chatted to him. We was talking about like pain and like the relation to like your mindset and the pain itself, right? And he at the time was looking after stroke patients, and he said to me, "You'll be so surprised how much affiliation that your mind has to that pain that makes that pain actually worse than it is." So the more that you start to detach your mental state from that, the less you start to notice it and the less it actually hurts. Don't get me wrong, it kind of sounds weird.
No, it makes sense.
But honest,
brain training.
It really is. It's like, bro, get the DS out, get my man's bench.
Yeah. Mr. Mama, that guy. Like, begin with an M. Yeah.
But like, so I was like, okay, interesting. So when he told me that, I wholeheartedly just went, all right, I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna push myself. So I said, after that, start of 2022, I said by the end of 2023, I want to run a marathon, and then by the end of 2024, I want to get into ultra marathons, which is kind of like just stupidly sadistic amount of pain that you put yourself through for 50 plus Ks worth of running up and down stupid amounts of elevation and mountains and stuff like that. So I started doing my training over 2022, slowly got into it, got really comfortable, happy. Then I was like, all right, well, that's it this year. So then Mizuno's have sponsored me, and If You Care Share, the mental health charity, they're sponsoring me for Amsterdam Marathon this year.
Okay.
And then so I've been out 3 months in injury. So only the last week I've been able to get back into it. But it's been a reset of mental clarity that's made me just go like, if I notice the difference in myself when I don't go for a run in the morning and when I do.
Yeah.
And that difference is enough for me to be like,
I need to go for a run.
That's
real.
Because runners high, everyone's like, oh, you get a run. It's no joke. It's better than any. I don't drink in it like at all for the last 3.5 years. And I don't do anything else other than the occasional spliff. So it's like, for me, it was very much like that feeling better than anything that you've ever tried in your life. Like it's insane. You go smash fucking 15K and you come back off the end of it, you're literally sat there like,
I get it.
it's wild, man. But that's kind of why I got into it. And so as time's gone on, like you said, running is a community thing. I got into 100 meters because I like the solitude. So for me, admittedly, it's the solitude. It's a form of meditation to an extent where I can just be in my own mind, my own self, and just go cane it for an hour or so and just see how I feel.
And then in terms of like, I guess running, and when it comes to apparel, we can see a lot. Like even, for example, little shout out to FootPatrol and the Oakley glasses. I see them. These glasses are crazy. I can't lie.
Cold.
Yeah.
I tried on some Oakleys. I come months back. I was like, I can't lie. I need me some Oakleys. They make a lot of sense. But I wanted to ask you about like how you feel like running and outerwear and apparel kind of intertwine, and where you find yourself in that. Like, does it influence your buying habits, and do you see it within your fashion sense? Like,
no, I definitely see it within my fashion sense.
It's got a lot bigger nowadays as well.
Massively. And, I admittedly, I've always been a kind of a firm believer of what I like to call my style is comfort over style. If it's if it looks good, it's an added bonus.
Fair.
So as far as I'm concerned, if you see me wearing a pair of running shorts, like, it's just because I'm comfy in it. I'm not out here to try and make a flex. There's a time and a place for me to dress up, but 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be kind of in my comfies.
Yeah.
But in terms of the merging things, I kind of started seeing the first early signs of the merging when I was working at Browns before FootPatrol.
Okay.
So this was like 5 years ago now.
Browns is another JD.
No, Browns Fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Farfetch.
Yeah.
So I worked in the Browns East store when it opened, for like a year and a half before then coming to FootPatrol, and that's when I started seeing brands like Satisfy and Saw coming into the market.
Okay.
And that was the first time that I started to notice that it was being adapted into fashion. Now, obviously there was performance shoes like Mizuno Prophecies and stuff that brands were admittedly a little bit too far ahead of the curve in bringing those kinds of products in. But that's when I started to notice that, like, oh, interesting, people are trying to buy running tops to look cool and things like that. And I wouldn't say it's affected my buying habits per se, but I'm the type of person that I like to be prepared, especially when I run. If I go for a run, a lot of the time I take a bag with me just because I like to have a jacket with me in case
it starts raining.
If I get hurt and I have to sit in the cold, I've got a jacket. If it rains, I've got a jacket. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like to be overly prepared even though I'm going for 5K.
Are you one of those people that in the middle of winter you're in shorts?
No, right. So I've got like a I got like a gauge on that, right?
Right.
Anything below 3 degrees, my leggings come out. Anything
Okay.
above 3 degrees is shorts and a jacket.
Right.
But if it's below 3 degrees, it's jacket, shorts, leggings.
Right.
Okay.
So like it's anything below, and I don't know why, but anything below 3 degrees, I feel way too much in it. And so like the day it was like minus 10 degrees.
Yeah.
I was out in the snow in Canary Wharf, like running, having the best time of my life. I was thinking like, yo, this is sick. And it was the first time I was running in my Nordas in the actual terrain that they would make.
They were meant for.
So I was like, wow.
I'm really running.
I was like, these
Product tester.
I was like, oh, these actually work. This is sick.
I just told these guys kind of more about their shoes.
my only issue with running apparel and with it being adapted more so as a fashion thing is that you have these really cool brands that make these really cool products like Satisfy, and obviously they're super advanced in terms of the materials and the way that they make them, and you know some of them are like laser cut, so less less materials wasted and stuff. My issue is the price point.
Right.
Ain't no one spending £250. The average runner, I'm talking, is not spending £250 to buy a running bag.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm paying, just a little bit more than that to buy a porter bag for a day to day. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. It looks cool and it's patchwork and all this cut and sew, but like, I don't need a cut and sew bag for my bloody running. Even then, when I bought my Salomon one, when I bought my first running bag, I went to Sports Direct and paid £15 because I was just like, I just need a bag to come to run. But now, as time's gone on, I realized, right, I need a different bag for different things. And then I was like, right, £90 for an even smaller bag. And I'm sat there thinking like, well, I get it, but £90?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of like, people say that running's a cheap sport. It's
expensive.
It's a lie. It is a lie. The
Yeah.
shoes itself are expensive. And then the kit, as you start getting more into it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Saw running, you're paying something like £90 for a pair of shorts, man. So hold tight to sample sale next week. I'll be there.
It's
quality.
in a bag.
Yeah, just I went last time and I left with like God knows how much stuff, and I was
Hey.
like,
Fair
sick.
enough.
Now, a follow-up question, yeah. So we've gone through the apparel, we've gone through sort of the fashion blend. What brands are doing it correctly? Who makes the best running technology when it comes to footwear? And then maybe when it comes to apparel on a separate, because I know it's separate things.
I won't just say it for the sake of saying it. Anyone who probably know me would probably know that the likely chances of what the brand I'm going to say is Norda. Now, I'm not just saying that for the sake of anything. Like, I am well and truly an incredibly massive fan of what they do and the ethos that they do it. And Nick and Willa, the like owner founders, their whole ideology, their story that came into it, like everything, like what they're doing in terms of the products. They wanted a shoe to run in their back garden. Their back garden is the Canadian Shield, right? You're looking at stupid, crazy terrains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Temperatures that are crazy all over
you
the
know what I'm
place as
saying?
well.
They're running in the snow constantly.
Yeah.
So they made a shoe for their back garden, and that shoe naturally is just being adapted to be a good shoe, and the technology is good. The thought process. It took them 2 years to come up to finally finish the first shoe.
one.
Yeah.
And then it was already, by the time they finished the first one, they're already a year in the making of trying to plan the second one.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So as and when they do a third shoe, that would have already been planned in as to like what that means.
Because
So-
you already kind of see the shortfalls and where maybe one shoe can't cater to it, the next shoe will.
Exactly,
And the
right.
next shoe will.
So
and
this
you,
is what I
you
was
create
saying
your own
earlier.
problems as you're creating.
Exactly. So that's
So,
what I was
yeah.
saying earlier, is that it's almost as if the brand is trying to make, I say it's as if, from my perspective, I see it as the brand is trying to make a range for different needs. So it's like, here's a shoe for endurance. Here's a shoe for a faster race.
Yeah.
Here's a shoe, let's say,
Yeah.
recovery shoe. Kind of like what Salomon have. It's like you
Yeah.
have your recovery shoes, your XTs, your wings, all that kind of stuff. obviously brands like Salomon, things like that, doing great. There's a brand called Normal.
Okay.
Yeah, Normal. Owned by a guy called Kylian Jornet. He was an ex-Salomon pro athlete. He's known as like essentially the greatest ultramarathon runner of all time. He has his own brand called Normal, doing really, really cool stuff. So there's a lot of cool brands, but a lot of them, I think, at the moment, the road running brands, what I've said is all trail brands. Road running brands, on running.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the leader in terms of having the fastest shoe, but the leader in terms of having the most innovation.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Every brand should be tweaking at the amount of innovation that these men are coming out with, and at the rate they are coming out with it.
Like, the investment they get is crazy though.
No, the investment they get. You got Nike putting out statements.
So tough.
You got Nike putting out statements saying we're looking for our next innovation. Is that them scared, or is that them trying to make a clever marketing play?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Threw me off. This was so serious.
yeah, no, but it's true, man. It's true.
Sweet,
Man, you got to tweak till Kingdom come, bro. But like, on running is definitely your brand to watch out for. Like, whether aesthetically it's into you're into it or not.
Yeah.
What they're doing and what they've done so quickly.
And the customer base is crazy as well. Like,
massive.
Obviously, when they originally started off, from what I was told, they were more so like a US kind of uptown buyer, and they became a UK sort of
mum and dad brand, man. Same as Hoka.
Yeah.
Kind of
then when the Arabs started buying into it, and like, for example, working where I work, Arabs really put their money behind certain things they like. The same way they were putting money behind Yeezy and buying it in mass amounts, they'll come to a store, and maybe not so much this year. Last year, they were 25 pairs on the same day.
Yeah.
It was that ridiculous, and each pair cost anything between £130 and £150.
Yeah,
and sounds like 25.
Good price point as well. Do you know what I mean? You're
Very
getting
good price
innovation,
point.
you're getting comfy, you're getting quality, and you're getting a decent price point.
And they're still increasing their range of shoes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've been to their store yet, but their store is sick.
That's what's I haven't been there,
Store
but
is
I've seen the videos, and
wicked.
it's crazy because it's up the road. Like, why haven't I been there?
You should check it out.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, they do this whole thing like gait analysis, right? Where they measure how your foot lands and to work out what shoes are good for you and stuff.
Serious.
And each
And
shoe
so they're
tastes different
neat.
things.
Yeah, so they're like going to Runners World, like not Runners, sorry, Runners World, Runners Need kind of thing, and like doing all that jazz on a running machine. Except they don't have a running machine. It's all scanners in the walls.
Bro.
So you just run on a strip of fucking floor, innit? And this will tell you where to land according to some lasers somewhere. It's
crazy.
Like, what?
And then they've got shoes that, for example, better shoes for running in the straight line.
Yeah.
Everyday shoes, the Cloud 5s. Then they have shoes that are good for cross training. They upgraded that shoe last year with the X3. Like, I can't lie, them lot, I don't know, again, who's behind the design, who's behind the marketing. They know exactly what they are doing.
Yeah.
And they've tapped into the stylistic side of things as well.
Yeah.
They've got like the girls in tees with like those parachute skirts and on runnings to finish off the fit.
Well, here's a fun
and
fact.
it's making sense.
Yeah.
Well, here's a fun fact.
Go
So you know obviously how Salomon came to market and obviously popped off with all the collabs and
Yes.
things like that. So the guy behind it is a guy called Jean-Pierre Ledonde,
Okay.
JLP. JPL, sorry, not JLP. It's Joe Lapima. My bad. JPL.
Yeah.
Jean-Pierre Ledonde. Lovely guy. He was the instigator. So he worked at Arc'teryx initially. So it was part of Armour Sports.
Right.
Worked on a lot of the cool stuff that was coming out of Arc'teryx. From Arc'teryx, he then went to Salomon. Became, let's call it, the curator of cool for Salomon.
Architect for hype.
Right.
So then, who then bought him off Salomon?
Right. Okay then.
Architect for hype.
Okay then.
Wow.
Now it makes sense.
Wow.
Follow the process, innit? You see,
So-
obviously, Archie already doing things. We're doing things already,
Yeah.
and we're always going to be doing things with Adam. And don't get me wrong, his role with Arc'teryx wasn't specifically like it is for Salomon, was for Salomon. It is for
It's on running.
Yeah.
But what he did for Salomon, they essentially were like, "You want to do it for us?"
Yeah.
So he's essentially the Joe Grundon equivalent.
He's
over them
like the
sides.
John Wixler.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair.
He's like the John Wixler,
Right.
your Fraser Cook
Yeah.
for Nike kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's that for on running. So
Mad.
the post archive fashion pop up that
Yes.
they did in Paris, all him.
Mad.
The collabs, all him. The
Mad.
events, the activations, it's that guy.
Yeah, he's
He's-
got a brain and a half.
Brain, he's got a network and a half, let alone a brain. He's got a thing. He's got more pies. There's bare pies here, innit? But he's got more hands than that.
No, that's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
That's crazy. So they're laughing at my joke. I didn't even clock. Iron clock.
He's got brain.
He's got a brain and a half. I didn't even
Pause,
clock
bro.
that. I didn't even clock. My bad. My fault.
Straight to the glove.
My fault.
Sorry,
But-
we're being very.
Whoa. But that's crazy. Like to be able to work on stuff to that degree and to that level is nuts. Wow.
Nah, mate, he invited us out in just before COVID became. Well, I mean, it
Full
was.
blown.
I'm sure it was a thing when I was there.
Yeah.
But we got invited out to Annecy, to Salomon's headquarters, like world headquarters, to go be the first external people to film what happens internally. And obviously, he flew us out there. We met him, all that kind of stuff, and we were meeting the designers behind the XT6 and the XT series and the XT4, all that kind of thing, and seeing what that brand does behind the scenes, and just hearing him talk.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that boy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then obviously, it's naturally, you can see the impact that he's had on running and the way that it's been adapted. I mean,
Wait, is he a runner himself then?
not really. Nah,
Interesting.
he's just into it. He's
It's really interesting
he's
sometimes.
Canadian guy. Always so naturally, like, you know, I know he's into the outdoors kind of
Yeah.
thing. So if he's not into running, he's into hiking. Do you know what I
Right,
mean? So
right. So
technical
outdoor,
products, yeah,
The man
technical
always
products
into
is something.
something.
Exactly. Technical products is something that they're always going to be into, man.
No, because the reason why I ask that is because sometimes I find it interesting that people that aren't from a certain space can do so much impact
Yeah.
without having that quote unquote background information. Like for the impact he's having on running.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just him repurposing his knowledge from Salomon and again from Arc'teryx, where he was. By the way, I didn't know that's how it's pronounced. I thought it was Arc'teryx.
Arc'teryx.
So I've learned something today.
Nah, bro. I could
But-
be saying it wrong, so don't be telling me I said anything right.
But like him repurposing this information he's got and obviously scaling up and getting more and more information to what he's doing now. The opening of the store in Regent Street, like cool. With Office, for example, Office shoes, they're getting a lot of on-running product,
Yeah.
and they've sold a lot, so they have like quite a strong account with them.
Yeah.
But as soon as we saw that store being built, we said, "Yo,
Dun, 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 dun,
hey
dun,
man,
dun.
hey man, the boss is on the roads. It might get a bit long for the guys."
Allocations going down.
And then in
Even
the
the store
first week they
launch, man.
opened, they went out of stock so fast.
Yeah.
People started coming back. They were like, we were like, why are you back? They were like, they don't have stock anymore.
Yeah,
So,
but like even the activation to launch that store launch, they had
crazy.
Bro, the activation.
There was like
to launch-
robot hands in it in the
robot
thingies.
hands going off. Like I went to the launch of the store and they had in different points of London, different, like, let's call them leaders. Let's just say for the sake of it, because they led runners.
Yeah.
But different checkpoints across the whole of London, all running from different points to finish at that store.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
NPCs.
Fair.
So
They had robots.
I started at Somerset. My group was in Somerset House.
Okay.
And we went from Somerset House, ran 3K to the store.
Okay.
And then some people came from Primrose Hill, some
Yeah.
people came from West, some people came from South. So they had people literally on. And I'm talking, there was a geezer, the geezer that was leading the pack. How the hell he was carrying it, I'll never know. But like a freaking speaker, not just a boombox. I'm talking like an amp.
Man.
Yeah.
Just on his back, just blaring tunes like.
Yeah.
Bumbling along. And I'm
trained hard for that.
Whoa, like I clearly something he does all the
crazy.
time. But the initiative in itself, the exposure that gave to that brand for that launch,
For that
just
specific
seeing a
launch for the
bunch of
store?
people wearing on running shoes
Yo.
going to a store launch with balloons and music blaring, sick idea, man.
Yeah.
They're very, very smart.
And it's
They're-
innovative.
Very.
You're using it exactly where it needs to be used.
Yes.
People that are running around on their normal runs are going to stop in their Nike shoes, stop in their Adidas trainers, stop in their Salomons and be like, why are they all these running in unison?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Why don't I know about that?
This
That's
is
the
the
thing.
thing.
They're missing out. And they're like, why am I missing out? I need to be involved in that. They probably joined you.
yeah. And there's crazy things like I've
Forrest
read
Gump.
some stuff. I've read some stuff on the internet about like how the soul technology works, right? And there was some stuff. I'm pretty sure I read it off the On Running website. But they were saying that the reason why the shoe, like, it got tested by like, let's say some Swiss like scientific federation board of some variety, yeah.
Okay.
And these guys essentially worked out that the shoe lowers your heart rate.
What?
The
I
soul
might not need to
technology
invest.
is apparently supposed to lower your heart rate.
Right.
And so they put Tony
Right,
Stark
so
in the
I
shoe.
need to read.
I need to
read
put
Do you know what
money
I'm
to
saying?
aside and the
I
whole
read that
family's
and
getting
I was-
pissed.
I read that and I was just like, huh?
How'd you do that, Sway?
You know what I'm saying? And that's just apparently just then. This is just the soul unit. The
Man.
soul unit is supposed to apparently, like, you know, I'd love for On to fact check me because I want someone to tell me that information.
Hey, somebody from On Running, come on the pod and let's discuss that.
yeah, let's
There's
discuss
space for you. And what'd you say my man's name is?
Jean-Pierre Ledon.
Jean-Pierre Ledon. There's a space
JPL.
for you, my brother. There's a space for you so we can discuss.
He sounds French, innit?
You say wee wee.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
so
Like,
dumb.
to be fair, he's French Canadian.
Yeah.
We
Fairs.
Alright, let's go on.
Yeah,
Let's,
man.
Move it over more into the community side of things because we've spoken very extensively about running, and I didn't know half the stuff that you
Honestly.
just said there.
Honestly.
And the influence is crazy. But I wanted to get back into the more community based and your role. Yeah. How do you? I want to say how do you, but like, how do you feel community has changed in terms of when you started till now? Like when you started the role till now.
And included in that question, what part do you feel like you played in the change of community?
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh.
God
The
damn.
guys are good. The guys are good.
God damn.
It's me.
I'll be honest. It's not necessarily where I've seen the community grow, but it's kind of what I've learned over the last 2 years.
Okay.
Now, from my perspective, for me, when I got offered the opportunity to, well, not I say offered, like I make that sound like they just gave me the job. I had to interview for that
Yeah.
job
Of course,
against other externals, and it wasn't just a surefire given promotion. It was a whole departmental change from marketing to community. Now, when I pitched to them what it was that I wanted to see is like and this was coming from a perspective that I was feeling that I'm not the person to say the game is dead. I don't ever think the game is dead. I think the game is just changed.
Yeah.
Whether you appreciate or want to enjoy that change is completely up to you as a consumer, as an enthusiast. But for me, what I kind of started to see that really started to get on my nerves was this sense of entitlement. It's
Yeah.
like we've all come out of COVID thinking like we're better than everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just
'Cause
like,
you won a couple releases in the pandemic.
do you know what I'm
and nobody
saying?
else did.
It's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden I managed to get this, that, and third in the pandemic, and now you don't have it. Haha, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
It's just like low key. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
shoe at the end of the day, right? So that I wanted to get rid of. And one thing that got me into FootPatrol, and this is the story that I always kind of give to brands and how I kind of like break down of what it is I want to do with FootPatrol is when I was 16 years old, I was getting trains to London with no money just to go to a FootPatrol to get to have someone talk to me. And once I had someone talk to me, I'd go home and I'd be like, "You sick, man?"
Yeah.
And I was train home. Done.
Yeah.
I'm in London for 20 minutes of my day, innit? And then go back. And the whole idea.
Peak window shopper.
I didn't even look in the window. I was joking. I was a sales member's worst enemy. Just coming in there to talk to you, and that is it, and leave. I'm not even
I
looking
feel
at
like
the crap.
some people don't mind that though.
No,
know what?
bro, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I was speaking to someone
for it.
today, and they were like, you know, like
Come in more.
you get that kind of customer service voice on all the time. It's nice sometimes to see a familiar face, and when they're asking how are you can really tell them how you are.
Exactly.
Like sometimes somebody says how are you, oh I'm okay.
Yeah.
But when your friend comes to ask you, oh how are you, it's like you know
I
what,
can't lie, this day
bro,
was, I
I ain't feeling the best, man.
had one specific demographic trial, bro.
One customer came and they
harassed
just customer came and they just I don't like the way they spoke to me, man. Like we're all humans at the end of the day, like,
Yeah.
and they can really put those opinions to you,
Yeah.
and you understand what they're saying because you've built a relationship. So
100%, man.
Yeah, man.
Quick tangent. What has been, or do you remember one of your worst customer faced like interactions?
Yeah, I obviously don't want to say too much
Yeah.
profanity, but when I was at Harvey Nichols, I got called the C word for not having someone's size.
Mad.
It said, I am a useless C word. And I said, why? And it said, because you don't have anything a size 12. My response was, it's your problem that you're a size 12.
Yeah.
I said, you
Yeah,
have...
Bolu.
like low
You know
key, no offense, Bolu, innit? It's that like, but I was literally sat there thinking, you're coming to a retailer that thinks that you're gonna have a wide variety of size 12s in stock. Like, no store has unfortunately a wide variety
But I
of size
can't
12s.
lie. Like,
But even then, I'm not used to C word. It's not my fault. Go tell the
Yeah.
buyer that, innit? Like, at least I'm our concerns.
Wait, how this would have been like what, at 2016?
This was when I was 18,
18.
so 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
So when I just dropped out of uni, started working at Harvey Nicks in Knightsbridge. But I've been called and shouted and
Yeah.
you know, everything under the sun. It's kind of part of the retail lifestyle. You get
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to
I
it.
can't lie.
But one of the
Yeah.
craziest
there.
experiences, and admittedly, I just walked out the store after it happened. I went into Brown. When I was working at Brown's, a client of mine was giving me a hard time that I wasn't able to process something. So I went into the store on my day off to go process this payment for him. And admittedly, it was like $6,000 sale. I was like, I want the commission. I'll go do it. I walked out the store, no word of a lie. 5 minutes later, it had an armed robbery. and the car rocked up, bumped up onto. They planned it. They knew when the security guard was going on lunch. They ran up a car, ran it up onto the pavement, ran in with 2 machetes and a sledgehammer.
Oh wow!
Told all everyone in their staff to run into the stock rooms, grabbing customers and dragging them in there. These geezers smashed up all the jewelry cabinets, took all the jewelry, took all the bags and bolted.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, so yeah, so it's not, that was probably, and I would literally, no word of a lie, this was on Club Row, just off Red Shirt Street. I was walking up Red Shirt Street when it happened, didn't it? And I just walked out the store and I literally got a call saying like, where are you? And I was like, I'm on my way home, why? And they said, yeah, don't come back.
Man.
And then hold tight for the company for making all those people that were working that day come to work the following day.
Yeah.
With no support, no nothing.
That's mad.
They were just told to come to work the next day. So you just had a geezer hold a knife, like a knife to your face over a watch that's not even yours.
That's mad.
And you're telling them to come back. But now as a community side of things, to go back to that, for me it was like this entitlement side of things I never really agreed with. And like FootPatrol has always been seen as this cool kids boys club.
Yeah.
And admittedly, that's what kind of got me into the brand. That's kind of what got me getting excited about it, because it was like, oh, but I want to be a part of that. As time's gone on, I started to realize, because of how nice people and how sort of open-armed people have been to me trying to come into this sort of a new space growing up. I kind of wanted to be able to relive that ethos and give people that same appreciation that these individuals gave to me. And, you know, some of these people, you know, some of them may they rest in peace, and some of them, you know, still going on to this day, still doing their thing, and to this day still showing me love and support and everything that I do. And that's kind of what I wanted to try and reinstill into FootPatrol. Is I didn't want to make a community. I don't believe that giving people products is community building. If low key, that's what I did in my last job. If I wanted to keep doing that, I would be like, why am I going to patent you product? I ain't getting commission for it. If I wanted to do that, I would have stayed in my last job and got commission for it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not how it works. So I'm not here to patent you things. What I want to do is create insight, create opportunity, create something that can benefit
more
you in the long term.
Exactly.
Shoes, like shoes, you're gonna get bored of it at some point if if it's a trend choice.
And if you don't get bored of it, then your buying habits will change. You just
Exactly. And my buying habits are like this, man. They fluctuate like the weather. So I really wanted to try and bring this idea of like, how can we make FootPatrol an inclusive space? How can we make it like welcoming to everybody? Now, you know, you can't please everybody in the grand scheme of things, and I get plenty of abuse for it. And you know, good for those that feel like they want to. That to me kind of reinvigorates that entitlement. You know, I get some people come up to me saying like, "Oh, I guess my invite got lost in the post." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, keep moving like that. It will keep getting lost in the post, innit? Like, go support somebody else." Like, I don't condone that kind of negativity. Like, I want people to come in and feel welcome, not come in and feel stush. So that was kind of what I wanted to do. So in terms of what I feel like I bought, I'd be honest, I don't think I bought a lot, because I've only done it for a couple years. I like to think that I've been able to help develop FootPatrol in a new way that hasn't been seen before, and create a foundation for the next person, if I was to ever leave the brand, to come in and just hit the ground running without having to then try and learn a new method.
I feel like some people love to, and I guess this is a positional thing, but like they'll leave the company or something, or they'll move on, and they'll be so quick to say, you know what, actually, let me not leave anything for the next guy. He needs to start fresh like me.
I want to leave a legacy. Like, and I don't mean that. I don't want to mean that in like a big-headed, narcissistic way. But in
if anything, it's the most humble way to leave.
Do you know what I mean? I want to leave it up to a point where I'd like to look back and some things still be in place where I brought that to the brand. And one of the things, like for example, I'm trying to do is create. Don't get me wrong. Like, you guys might be able to have told from this conversation that we've had today, like, I'm more into product than I am into anything else, right? And so the community thing is kind of like a side hustle in a sense within this industry. But for me, it's kind of, I don't know, like I've loved seeing people get that opportunity that I didn't get to have earlier than I got to have it. You know, like I spent from the ages of 18 through till 22 till I got my first interview with FootPatrol, applying for a job at FootPatrol just to work on the shop floor. So I know how hard it is, and unfortunately it's an industry of who you know, what not you know. But so what I've been trying to do is try and find ways of making it what you know, less so than who you know, because realistically, as people, we're always kind of up for our own agendas, right? And that's not in a bad way. You know, we got to look out for ourselves in a sense, right?
Sure.
But sometimes we kind of then forget about all those people that aren't confident enough to look out for their own agenda. So how can we help those people find their agendas for them to focus on?
For sure.
Is kind of what I want to try and do at the moment, anyway. But like I said, I like to think it's gone pretty well. I've had positive response. The business seems to like it. It's not a very monetary driven, you know, side of the business, and you know,
it's more ethical if you think about
exactly.
it.
And you know, it's taken a long time to get them on board with stuff to the point where I'm fortunate enough now that I can turn around and say, look, I think this is a good idea, and my manager tends to be like, all right, I trust
Brad
you.
likes it.
It's like I trust you now. Like, I spent everything that I've tried to do has been an uphill battle.
I can imagine.
But that's because it's not because people don't want to do it. It's just a lack of understanding.
Breaking on those like kind of new walls that are being created
Man,
by the
massively.
space and the evolution, and obviously no fault of their own, but as they grow up, they kind of lose distance with what's maybe fresh and new and current.
And bro, and that's going to happen the same with me, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm going to get to a point where I'm not going to be... I don't wear Cortez, man. Like, it's not my steez. I love the 95. I love the pink beams, but that's because I love pink. Like, it's not so much as what
Have
Cortez.
you got any of the pairs?
I've got the pink
one,
beams.
Yeah, I remember saying you needed it.
Like I needed that.
He took that
And
clinical
that was-
picture. I said, yo,
And it wasn't even a case of the fact that it was a Cortez collab, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
It was the fact that it had the C on the toe.
yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then the initial image that you saw was the lateral side with the Cortez logo.
text.
And I was
Yeah.
like, yo, what?
Yeah.
I said, they've just
And
got
it's
rid of a
all
swoosh.
free,
Yeah.
I said, this is groundbreaking. I need
Yeah.
that. And it's pink.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is a
That's real.
win-win-win.
Pink on blue.
I was like, yeah, come, hither. So I paid resale, got the wrong size, and then waited 6 weeks until I got a size swap.
Fair.
So I mean, I've worn my pair to the point now where they're splitting up on the right hand side. But that was going back to the point of we were saying earlier about sustainability, like using cheaper quality materials. It might feel premium, but the glue might be crappier. So now I've got a pair that's splitting after, let's say, about a month's worth of wearing.
Crazy.
Wow.
Is what it
And
doesn't change.
I think this is where we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice you want to give to somebody looking to enter the community manager space? Because it's quite a niche.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The community manager space is something that's only kind of really recently from brands starting to pick up.
Yeah.
you
But
know,
it's extremely important.
And I'm hearing a lot of brands starting to go like, "Why are we so disconnected from our consumer?" And I'm like, "It's because you're just constantly pushing product down their throats."
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like, when you really think about it, the community events is what expose you to, like, not only does it refresh your long-term customers into reminding you that this is my brand, I like the brand because what it do, it introduces the brand to newer customers.
Of course.
And that's what a collab was for once upon a
Yeah.
time, man.
Yeah.
Like with this oversaturation of collaborations. Don't get me wrong, I love a collab. I'm a lot of what I own are collabs, admittedly.
Real.
Yeah.
But it's so overly saturated that it doesn't bring in new consumers anymore, right? So
Yeah.
this is where the community needs to be doing that. Is how do you, like you said, that's how we're gonna merge that new sort of space together. But my biggest piece of advice is that don't, and this is going off what I've learned, right, is I worked on an International Women's Day campaign, right? And when I was working on this campaign last year, when I was initially pitching it to some people, the first thing I was told was, we're around 364 other days of the year. It's like, you don't just have to work with us on International Women's Day.
Yeah.
That was the biggest signifier for me to realize that was probably the least authentic thing that I've done for FootPatrol, because I've literally just tried to facilitate something for a moment, not because we should be doing it.
Yeah.
So with community initiatives, the best thing to be doing is to create authentic representation across as many people as you can. Is that including a hijab wearing woman in your campaigns? Yes. Is that including someone with disabilities and creating an understanding around that topic? Yes. Is that putting anything and everyone together in one place, the same way that you saw, for example, not ALD, but New Balance's run as a different campaign. You had a Sikh man, you had Action Bronson, you had had a black woman, you had everything under the sun, and in multiple shapes and sizes. That's authentic community storytelling, and that's what people want to see. Is they want to be shown the love that they show the brands. And I'm not trying to say that in a sense that we're trying to blow up people's egos, but it's more so from a sense of we're trying
Appreciation.
Exactly. It's appreciation and instilling confidence that it doesn't matter who you are, just be you. Like the people will know me from a perspective of say what you like to me, innit? Like I literally don't care. Like I don't care. Like I rock up to events and I do things on my own. Not because I don't want to socialize, not because I don't want to be here, don't be there. It's because I want to be doing it on my terms because it's my interest. It's like we have a shared interest, but it's also individualistic to me and my tastes. So how can we cater for everybody and their tastes and really do it? So my biggest piece of advice, be authentic. Like that's the only way people are going to mess with you is if you're trying to go for a moment, like a lot of brands do, just go for moments for the sake of going moments, then fine, you're going to lose touch with your community. And just because you ticked a box doesn't mean that you've filled a gap. Like fill the gap first, then tick the box. Like that's the only thing you do. And it's the one thing I've learned more than anything. It's just no matter what I do, if I'm going to work on a project, I need there to be someone from that demographic of whoever I'm working with to be telling me on my side every single thing that I'm doing, because what I might be thinking might not align with what they're thinking, or I might be missing something. I don't know, like, you know, open book event that we did, something like disabled access to toilets and a double door for wheelchair and power chairs to get through, you know, small things like that in the grand scheme you wouldn't think about. You need to work with people that help you think about that. And the more you do that, the more insight you create and the more authentic you can go on being forward. Because then you start to look at every campaign that you do, or every initiative as, okay, here's an editorial campaign. It's got nothing to do with community, but where can we put in representation? You know, I'm in the process of trying to work on a campaign if I can. Obviously, it's going to go down to how much the model costs and if I have the budget for it. But I'm trying to get a campaign to shoot in the middle of nowhere with a male model and a hijab, visibly Muslim woman wearing a hijab. You don't see that very often other than Nike pushing the hijab for sporting use, right? So it's like, I want to push that because it's something that's not seen enough. It's not seen enough. But yeah, that's what I would say. A tangent there. I waffle a lot, but that's me.
No, it makes sense.
Quickly, last question.
Go on.
I'm gonna ask a random question. What's some of the craziest stuff you've seen in your stockroom?
Yeah, none of my holds, that's for sure. All my holds suck. I like them. Craziest stuff I've seen in my stockroom.
Not necessarily yours, but
no. But what we've seen, like, okay, here's one. So when I worked at Browns, we did a collab with Stadium Goods in it for a month. That was probably the craziest stuff I've ever seen.
Oh, mad.
I'm not gonna.
Must see some crazy crap in there.
I'm not gonna say what shoes I tried on. But there was some crazy shoes. I'm talking like Eminem Carhartt 4s.
Yo!
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Hey, you know what? I can imagine now.
You know what I'm saying? So
I'm here.
Everything along them lines. And all the gaps are in between. Satin Jordan 1 breads.
Man was out here trying on. What's that? What's that green Jordan 4? Not the Dornbeckers, the other ones.
Oh yeah, Wahlburgers.
Yes.
Oh, no, we didn't have those.
Hey, man.
No
Oh,
Dornbeckers either, unfortunately.
Okay.
Bring the Dornbeckers back, man.
Hey.
That thing was hard. But yeah, that the craziest thing that I've ever seen in a stockroom was when we did the collab with Stadium Goods at Browns, and I had an Eminem Carhartt 4 just in my hand.
Yeah, that's
and
mad.
I was just there like, oh.
Yeah.
Obviously, Yeezy 2s, Yeezy 1s, all that kind of stuff. Seen them a few times pop up here and there. And then obviously like off-white bits and bobs, like, but you know, like we said before we had this chat, like you'd be surprised how much stuff doesn't actually fully sell out, and then a lot of the stuff is RTV'd, you know, return to vendor. Some stuff goes on like staff raffles within businesses if businesses allow it and if brands okay it. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the stuff that gets left over, don't think that the staff get to sweep it up.
No, it's not.
A lot of it go back.
You know what I mean? No, unfortunately, it's like the staff only get allowed it if the brand says, and if the brand says no, well then it's gonna go sit in a warehouse until someone decides what to do with it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that Eminem Carhartt 4, man. It was.
That's a strong one. I can't lie. Strong one.
One more question from me. You mentioned the Yeezy 2s and Yeezy 2s. With the recent news of Yeezy coming back to retailers, how do you feel about that?
I got to be honest with you, brother. I actually am not allowed to talk about it.
Fair enough.
Cool. Yeah.
And we have hit the one thing we can't discuss, guys.
Yes, we finally
right at the end of the episode.
You know what? We did well.
We did great, guys. We did great. I'm so proud of you guys.
You know what it is?
We did great.
It's a recent thing. We've got an email from Andy that's saying we're not really allowed to talk about it. It's just it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's all.
All you know at the moment,
All we
all you
know.
can share,
All I
man.
can share. Like it will happen. However,
Close back book.
Hey man, you've done your job. This is great.
However they go about it, they're going to go about it
Yeah.
according to how the brands want them to go to.
Okay.
But as in terms of how we're doing it, and how I feel, it's not really a place that I'm able to share, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
Bolu, would you like
it's,
to?
it's
take
nice
it
to
away?
know you, as cool as you are, you're still industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Got to stay. Someone pays my bills.
Yeah, really.
I hear it, man. And this is what we talk about when we talk about community versus industry, guys. It's the constant power struggle, you know what I mean?
Hey, I mean, look, like, if you've ever heard me talk on community stuff, on panel talks that I've done at FootPatrol, I'm the first person to call people out. Like low-key, I don't care. And I'm more than happy for you to sit and get in my DMs and tell me why I'm not good at my job. But at the end of the day, who's the one doing it and who's the one not?
Fair, man.
Like,
Hey,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a bar.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
Honestly.
at the same time, if you're going to tell me you don't like me because you didn't get invited somewhere, then you need to reevaluate what your morals are in life.
Yeah.
Because if you think going somewhere thinks you're going to be someone, you'll soon learn you won't.
Yeah.
So it's just, be humble. It's an industry full of a lot of, not just footwear, but like fashion is a very
Cutthroat.
tainted, cutthroat industry. And the more humble people I've met, they've to me have stood out that more. And they're the kind of people I would like to aspire to be like as much as possible. And I'm sure there's lots of people think I'm a waste man in it, and and I'm over here for it. But at the same time, it's just a case of just staying true, but at the same time trying to find that separation of enjoyment and hobby and work.
Yeah.
The moment it starts merging, it starts to kind of then taint the both in it. But yeah, it's all part of the game, man. It's all part of the game. You get used to it after a while.
Well, Bradley, want to thank you for a really insightful episode.
Oh, I'm glad you found it insightful. I really
honestly,
worried I waffled, man.
No, bro.
Honestly, when I get
You've
carried
taught us
away, I
some
get
important
carried away.
things, and it's just been like a really good discussion to have, because this is kind of like, we love getting insights into certain things, and I feel like you've done it in such a way where you've given us the insights into certain things, but you've also kind of protected what your brand represents.
Yeah,
and it's a really good balance that you found to do it. So hey, you're good at your job, man. Shout out to you.
100%.
And we've got to the point in the show where we do with our guests, we ask them to sign a point.
I was wondering what these were. I was thinking, right, who signed
the
these?
Stockroom Air Force One. Yeah, man. These are our size 17 Air Force Ones.
Oh no, these aren't my size.
No.
I gathered that. Don't worry.
So we get.
I clocked you said a 12 earlier.
So we get our guests to sign it. So literally, pick any section you want on that left foot, and once that left foot is full, then we'll move on to the right foot. But yeah, man.
I've never signed this before. I'm gassed.
Welcome to the Holy Grail.
Crazy story. This is the exact same Sharpie I got from the FootPatrol.
I said full circle.
Yeah, it actually is.
That's crazy.
The copywriter event.
Swear.
Yeah.
That's mad. Brad said that did my job. So you guys step up.
Sustainability.
Hold tight.
Step up your game.
But yeah,
Hell yeah.
Sign anywhere.
Writing their
Anyone.
name. I'll write my name. Safe.
Left signings with Brad.
I'm gassed, you know.
Come on, man.
I'm gassed.
Hey, bro, show us that signature.
For Brad with like 2 lines.
It's calm, man.
but yeah, man. Guys, thank you
Appreciate
so
you for
much
real,
for.
bro.
No, thank you. Honestly, guys,
I
like
appreciate you, man, always.
You know the research that you do, the topics of what you do, what you cover. I think you do it so well, and I think you do it tastefully.
Yeah.
I think that not everyone's podcast, but there's a lot of podcasts these days where the information that you get is just like it's rehashed and rehashed and rehashed. Kind of some of the reason why I stopped watching things like Full Size Run and stuff like that. It's just I'm bored of hearing the same stories and just seeing a new face. Like you guys stay relevant, you keep it interesting, and like it's a testament to like what you do is really good. I still can't believe the size of the operation is.
Yeah, man. There's a lot more going on in this, isn't it?
Smaller. I wish the people behind the camera could see how many lights are on the but no, thank you guys massively.
Hey,
honestly,
that's
really
cool,
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for coming on, man. Honestly. And on that note, guys, I think it's time to bring this to an end. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening,
Yes, sir.
subscribing, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Interact with the show. Let us know your thoughts on what Brad said. Do you disagree with anything that we discussed today? Do you have any further opinions? Any agreements? Just let us know what you think. Like, we really want to know what you think. We sit here, and let you know our opinions. So just like, let us know what you think. And yeah, man. Obviously, tap in on all social media.
Do
The
what you just
Stockroom
said.
Pod on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
The Stockroom UK _ on Twitter.
Yeah.
And the Stockroom UK on TikTok. Make sure you're there,
Facts.
live and direct, interactive content as always, and interactive personally. And of course, tap in with Bradley as well. Bradley will show you about the Nordas in TT detail. I'm not even joking, guys. I read through the whole thing on my way to church on a Sunday, and I was like, yo, this is a real read.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, if you are interested, what are
You
your
know what's
social
funny?
media?
Yeah, I've got another pair of Nordas in my bag.
Yeah.
I have a Norda to run, Norda to
That's it.
gym, and
Imagine.
Norda's the
That's it.
lifestyle.
Imagine.
Yeah, life is
Daytime
It is,
Norda.
is it
literally.
Bradley
Norda
Martinez
at night.
_?
Yeah, Bradley Martinez underscore.
Bradley Martinez _ with
It will
a.
say
with a
prospector
Z.
pine cone in it. Don't
Yeah.
YouTube, and a picture of a bunny rabbit and meat wholesaler.
That is
Is it
Brad.
a bunny rabbit though?
You know what? Yeah. So my full surname is Bradley Martinez Hair.
Right.
So my English side of the family are like Hair.
And
but,
you run. Oh, man.
Full circle.
but the rabbit is. I'm a big Freddie Gibbs fan.
Right.
So that's from the Gang Signs music video with
Right,
Schoolboy
right,
Q,
right.
and the bunny's just like driving a car and just whacks a Glock on top of the dashboard, and I was like, yeah, shit. So yeah, that's where that's from.
Hey, yeah, man. And guys, obviously, till the next one, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye. Adios.